Hello everybody and welcome to this our first training in English. We are very happy to see you here coming from all over the world. My name is Luca and I am one of the 3DM biomedical engineer, and today we'll show you our Real Guide software suite. So we will explain you all the different type of modules that Real Guide has, and we'll show you how these modules works. And then I show to you with my colleagues. Ivan will start speaking now, explaining you all the different types of modules of the software, and then Alice will show you how Real Guide works, starting from the data import and creation of a patient folder till the surgical guide design. So I think that we can start. If you have questions, you can write them into the chat. Another my colleagues, Eleonora, will answer to you in the chat, and then at the end of the meeting, we'll answer to the most important question you did. So I think we can start. Ivan, do you hear me?
Yes, I hear you.
Okay. So you can,
Okay.
you can
I share my screen.
Okay. Enjoy the meeting and see you at the end of the meeting. Bye.
You see my screen?
Yeah, I see it.
Okay. Well, welcome everyone, and thank you so much to join this Real Guide free webinar by 3DM. Please let me introduce myself. My name is Ivan Tagliabue, and I'm the Sales and Customer Manager at 3DM. First of all, I hope all of you or your families are safe and well. Unfortunately, this pandemic that is affecting our countries is growing very fast. As you know, here in Italy, the situation is very bad. Our country is locked down, but we don't give up. We are confident that thanks to these countermeasures taken by the authorities, this health emergency will end as soon as possible, and we'll be able to return to our normal life very soon and start working harder than before. But we can also take advantage of this situation because we finally have time. We have time to stay with our family, of course, but above all, we have a great opportunity to spend our time with training and improve our knowledge. This is the reason why, despite this difficult situation, we are continuing to work from home and have thought to offer our customers the opportunity to attend our online training courses. By the way, this webinar will be recorded and you can download it for free on our website, www.3dm.it, in the free online training session, to be able to review it whenever you want, just in case you may have any doubt or some steps not so clear. Also, in case you should have any question, please write in chat, and at the end of this training, we will answer all your questions. We're providing free daily webinars to our Italian customer where we face different topics every day. And since our goal is to expand our business also in foreign markets, we have organized this first free webinar in English, and we hope that it can be useful for you to better understand our complete digital workflow and the cutting-edge solution proposed by our company. Well, let's move forward to our topics with a brief introduction about who is 3DM and what is Real Guide and how does it work. 3DM is a service company aimed at professional companies to provide advice and design the technical in the biomedical field. Since 2006, the company has worked in the dental and maxillofacial sector, supporting doctors and dental technicians worldwide. in managing clinical cases with minimally invasive and digital technology. Among the major services offered by 3DM, we highlight the following: development and customization of medical software, Real Guide platform, management of guided surgery procedures using the Real Guide technique, application of rapid prototyping technologies and CAD/CAM in the biomedical field, and support in the preparation of scientific papers and presentation at medical conferences. But what is Real Guide? Real Guide is a totally open guided surgery and prosthetic planning software, which means that it's possible to import both DICOM files for hard tissue information, bone and teeth, and STL files for soft tissue information for any equipment. CBCT, desktop scanner, intraoral scanner, doesn't matter what brand of our is for the data acquisition. Once the necessary data is imported, the software will be able to match the files to get all the information we need to proceed with the implant planning. Real Guide is a Class QA medical device, and it's CE mark and FDA approved. In addition to be installed in your device, the software is also available on the cloud platform. This is a great advantage because the user has the possibility to access his account anywhere and from any device, simply through his own username and password. Furthermore, it's possible to plan, make changes, and share cases with any Real Guide user you want. Colleagues, dental technician, production center for the manufacturing of the surgical guides, specialists, for example, radiologists, and why not even with your patients. Real Guide is available for Windows device, starting from Windows 7 operating system onwards, for MacBook Pro and iMac from Mojave operating system onwards, and also for iOS mobile devices, iPad Pro and iPhone 7 Plus onwards. It's currently not available for Android devices, as unlike iOS devices, they are not yet certified as medical device for diagnosis. Well, Real Guide is made up of several licenses with different features. Let's quickly see the possible solution for each single module. The Start module is a free module for viewing and diagnosis, which can also be downloaded from our website, and which allows the following functions: view DICOM, STL, OBJ, PLY, and project files, obtain MPR, panoramic and 3D reconstruction, process and match STL file with the DICOM dataset, draw nerves and set the teeth position, share your projects on cloud and chat with your colleagues, and it's an open connection with third-party software such as my design system with CB60 equipment and scanners, intraoral scanners, desktop scanner, and facial. As we have seen before, the Real Guide application is also available. You can find it on the App Store, and it allows you to plan and share your cases anywhere with your iOS devices. You can plan implants with the tip of your finger, manage the projects in mobility, bring your patient everywhere. The Pro module, which is dedicated to the clinicians, in addition to the import of the DICOM dataset and the scan files, allows you to proceed with the implant planning using the main features here below. Download your favorite implant library from the cloud, Choose from hundreds of implants and prosthetic components. Set your favorite view for implant planning. All implant numbers here are officially released by companies with defined relationships between implants, abutment, and sleeves, and the artificial intelligence based on teeth and bone cementation. The design module, which also includes the Pro module, following and planning allows you to create and export the STL file for the manufacturing of the surgical guide, which can be made both in-house and through any printing center, or provided by 3DM, of course. Furthermore, it is possible to draw any type of surgical guide with bone, dental, or gum support, repair, reduce, and adjust the edges of STL files by optical scanning, create full or shell models with holes for digital analogs, manage any Boolean operation of symmetric anatomy, and export the S file optimized for 3D printing or milling. The new CAD prosthetic design module aimed at dental technician is also available as a standalone module and allows you to design the following customized prosthetic solutions. Create the workshop from the library or from the anatomy, design crowns and bridges on natural teeth or implants, create immediate load prostheses directly from implant design in a single integrated environment, create a reformance bar in a few clicks, design customized abutment on implant or T-basis scans with anatomical or reduced upper structures, digital callback on crowns, bridge, and workshop elements, a simple construction of telescopic crowns, bridges, and bars, and create overstructures on single or multiple bras with a very flexible workflow. Finally, the complete Real Guide CAD Plus module, which actually includes two softwares, both implant and prosthetic planning, includes all the previous module in a single solution with the following features. Complete integrated system, including implant planning, surgical guides design, and prosthetic modeling. Immediate load management from workshop to final prosthesis. And it's the only solution that involves the complete digital dental team through cloud and mobile technology. The 3DM technical support is our pride. A team of high qualified experts made up entirely of biomedical engineers and dental technicians are able to satisfy any type of need you may have based on the type of your request. And well, I can conclude by leaving our contacts for any further information. And I pass the word on to my colleague, engineer Alice Sormani, who will show you our complete Real Guide digital workflow, starting from data import up to the creation of the surgical guide. Thank you so much for your attention and take care. Okay, Alice?
Okay, thank you very much. Let's thank Ivan for the presentation. My name is Alice Sormani, or you can call me Alice if you like it. I wanted to say hi to the people among you which already know me. Hello everybody, I hope you're well. And today we are going to see how the Real Guide software works. We are going to see a panoramic, so starting from the STL and DICOM importation to the design guide creation. We are not going to see specific things. This we are going to view. If you have some questions, you can write them to us. And so let's start. I'm sharing my screen with you. Let me know if you can see it.
Yes, we can.
Yeah.
Okay, so everything is can be seen very well. Okay. That's the main real guide page. As you can see, I've already imported some patients, some demo cases I've been dealing with in the past few days of quarantine. Anyway, usually if in the first time you install the software, this page appears to be empty, so you won't find anything in this area. I wanted you to have a look at this part of the screen where you can see I have here my email address. That's because the software works on the cloud. So basically the license is linked to your user. The first time you run the software, you will need to fill in this form, a registration form where you can fill in with your information, your name, your surname, and especially, very important, the email address and password. Why? Because the license is linked to your username and password. And so with this couple of things, you will be able to log in to all the computers you have. So you can install the software wherever you want. You can, you can log in and you can access to all the cases you have loaded on the cloud. Later we'll speak about the cloud. Let's start from the beginning. I have made login with my username and password. So now we can start. The first thing to do is the creation of a new patient folder. So if I click here on this add patient window, I can add a new folder. So here you can write down the name. For example, let's write down lower demo. We are going to see partial dentalus case lower arch. So now I click on OK, and if you have a look at the background, you see here that the patient folder has been created. The software automatically asks if you want to import something else. You can import all these things you can see on the screen: DICOMs, import 2D pics, for example, photographs of the patient, STL, and documents. You can import as many files as you want. So you want to import 100 STL, you can do it. Of course, maybe your computer won't be so happy, but you can. The software is completely open. So let's start importing our DICOMs. If I click here, a drop-down menu appears and we have different options. The possibility of importing zip files. Sometimes it happens that the radiologist sent you zip files, so you can import compressed folders, just zip folders, directly from this icon, or you can import DICOM folder, meaning that you just need to click on the folder containing the DICOMs and the software will automatically load the files it needs. In my case, I have a folder, a simple folder, so I click on the second option here, and I'm gonna go on my desktop where I've prepared the folder here, training demo cases. Sorry. Let's go inside, directly inside the folder. Okay. Here is my DICOM folder, so I just need to select it. And all the DICOMs are loaded. As you see, I've not, I didn't go inside the folder. I simply choose the outer folder, let's say, and the software automatically loaded the DICOMs. So as usual, if you look at the background, you see that a new CT exam has been created. Now I want to import the STL, so I click on this icon here. The software is asking me, oh, please don't write on my screen. Someone wrote on my screen, so I need to lock. Okay. I was telling you that these are the most common names you may want to give to your STL. So please pay attention to the names you give the STL you're importing. So for example, if we are importing the scan of the model, of the cast model, or a scan of the mouth of the patient from the intraoral scan, I need to click on anatomy. If I'm importing a WhatsApp, I need to click on this other icon. If I am importing a radiologic guide, I need to click on 3D marker scan. So give STL the correct name. Let's start from the anatomy. I click on the anatomy here, import, and I need to go in the folder where my STL files are. Let's start from this. They are inside this folder. And this is the anatomy STL we are going to import here. Okay, the icon turned white, so it means that this slot has been occupied. There is a file here, so we can't click it on there anymore. Now we need to import the WhatsApp prosthetic, so we can click on the other icon here and then import. The software is very nice and remembers where our STL are, so I don't need to go and find them again. Here is the WhatsApp prosthetic. This file can be both the scan of a physical WhatsApp or the creation of a WhatsApp in Exocad or any other software you are using for your prosthetic part creation. So you just need to click on STL and click on open, and the software does the rest. Okay, now we have all our files. In this case, we are not going to import a 3D marker scan because our patient has teeth, and so we are going to use teeth like reference. I can close down this window, and I can close down this window too because I don't need to import anything else. Okay, let's look at what happened. The software loaded our files in the right part of the screen where you have different, let's say, topics, different parts of our folder. You have projects, which is now empty, of course, because we have not created anyone. DICOM images. So in this case, we just have a DICOM, DICOM series. It could happen that other DICOMs could be available right under the first one. We can also have a preview of our CT by dragging this little gray icon here. In 3D objects, we have our STL, anatomy and prosthetic, and we can also view if we had imported them pictures and documents. Let's go back to the DICOM images. I click on open in order to go in the patient window. Okay, I think I need to share again my screen. I think you can see me, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is the main patient window, as you can see here. I want you to pay attention to the left side of the screen. You can see a lot of different icons here with the different workflow steps. These steps are already in the correct order, in the correct workflow. So if you follow them, you will go to the end of the workflow. It's like a guide, like a wizard for guiding you through the workflow. The first part is the voice settings, the VOIM settings, meaning volume of interest settings. We are going to choose what we want to see in our screen by removing the parts of the CT exam we don't need. I am rotating the CPR using the left button of the mouse. In order to remove the parts of the image I don't need, I am going to enable this trimming option here. So a boundary box appears, and I need to drag these yellow points so that my volume can become smaller. I am not going to use the upper jaw, so I will remove it. And also I will remove the marker. This is the marker from the radiological guide. I will remove it because in this case, as you can see, the image is very good. The teeth have very high quality, so we are going to use the teeth like reference system. After I finished, I need to click on permanently trim to make Real Guide approve of my modification. Okay, there is no turning back now. Okay, so I can't see the part of the dicoms I have removed in this project. The dicoms are not affected by this modification, so you can close down and open your dicom again and see the complete exam. You can see that we have small particles here which we want to remove, and we couldn't remove with the trimming, but don't worry because we have the scattering tool which can make me draw an edge around the parts I don't want to view so that they are removed. Every click of the mouse is point positioning. Oh, sorry, made a mistake. Okay, as you saw, I've used the undo here to go back to the previous situation. Okay, the second part of this screen is not widely used. It's used to flip the direction of the images. I mean, when the radiologists do something wrong with the tags assignment, you know, tags upper, lower, right, and left, I don't usually use them. If there is something wrong with the DICOM, I usually call the radiologist and ask him or her for assistance. So we have this option, but I don't usually click on this part. We have finished here, so I click on next step. If you have a look on the left side column, you can see that we have gone through the second step, 3D settings, meaning we are going to set the representation of the bone in our 3D picture. Remember that this image is not a segmentation, meaning no one has worked on this DICOM to create this bone. This is a rendering directly from the software, so it strongly depends on the quality of the image. So if your image has metal artifacts, probably you will have everything here compromised, or at least the part where the metal is. In this case, we have a very high quality image, so we don't need to worry about that. What we have to do is set the interval of Hounsfield units. Here we want to view in the 3D. So here we have the complete Hounsfield units scale, and by dragging these points here, we can choose our representation. Okay. Here below you also have other templates which are good for other kind of CT and exam. I can show them to you, but actually this exam was not made to view the soft tissue, so we also have a template for high density tissues. The most used, of course, is bones. Let's go on. So whenever I have finished, I click on next step and the software will automatically go to the next level here. The next level is data import. We have already imported the STL from the main patients list. Anyway, if you forgot something or you want to change anything from this list, you can import other objects from this using this icon, or you can remove the ones you have already added here. In my case, I don't need to import anything and I am happy with my files, so I just want to use this. Let's make them visible by clicking on this little eye icon here. Okay, we can see that these files are, of course, not aligned to the CT. They are in a complete different position. So now what we want to do is to take these STL and put them in the correct position with respect to the CT exam. If you have a look at the STL only, you can see that the WhatsApp are in the same relative position of the anatomy. This is very important because we are going to use the anatomy, especially the teeth, like reference in order to move these objects from point A to point B, and then for the WhatsApp we are going to do the same movements made for the anatomy also for the WhatsApp. This is gonna work only if the WhatsApp starts from the same point of the anatomy. We are going to go back to this if something is not clear. Anyway, let's start from the anatomy. I hope that with the demonstration it will become clear. Let's start from the anatomy. I need to click on the STL I want to align and then ask the software, please, I want to do the matching here. Okay, the software asks me what I want to do. Of course, I want to do the matching. If I click on keep original position, the STL won't be moved, and let's ignore the last option for now. So let's start from the matching. Click on OK. The software goes on and asks me what I want to do. This is the main matching window. You can see on the right side window the STL word and on the left side window the CT word. We have two ways to do the matching. The first one is completely automatic. You just need to click an icon and the software will do the rest. The icon is assisted. This algorithm works by looking at the contrast outline it can see in the DICOMs and by comparing these outlines with the STL, and it finds the perfect matching. Of course, this depends on the contrast and the quality of the image. Since it's very easy, I just need to click on assisted to do that. We are going to do the difficult way. The difficult way is the automatic method. This means the software needs the user to do something for it, which is placing points. These points must be put with some criteria, meaning if I put a point here, I need to put the correspondent point in the STL word, and so on. So I need to put at least 3 points. As you can see, I'm trying to visualize the objects from the same side. And I try to place the points in the almost same position. I don't need to be so precise because you can see there are spheres around the points, meaning that the area the software will take into consideration is inside these spheres. You can also set the diameter of this sphere by changing this number here. Okay, I have placed 4 points, so now I can ask the software to help me with the matching. I need to click on fit points here. And as you can see, the software has already done something. I can move this icon to view the result. And if I want the software to make it better, I also need to click on best fit. Usually it works. And it did. As you can see, the profiles, which are the pink color, are correctly matched with the CT outline. Okay. I need to click on apply. When I click on apply, the software kind of remembers the movement which it had made to move the anatomy from point A to point B. So it remembers the movement, and now we are going to ask the software to do the same movements also for the prosthetic. So in this case, we are not using points or the automatic procedure, of course, since the workshop is missing from the CT. We don't have any reference. We need to trust the software. We click on matching, and we ask the software to move the workshop as it moved the anatomy. Please apply the same movement. Okay, and it worked because both objects were starting from the same place. We have completed the matching section, and we can go to the next step. The next step is the CPR settings, which is a sort of Pyrex. In order to create the Pyrex, we need first to select the region we are working on, which is the mandible. We can correct the alignment of the patient if need be. In my case, I just tilt a little bit this yellow line. You can follow the school, the thinking you prefer. There are a lot of thinking about how this line should be placed, but don't worry, you can always move it like you want, both in this position, in this step, and also later. So don't worry, you can go back to the previous step if you need them. Okay, so I have tilted a little bit this yellow line, and now I can create my CPR. In order to create it, I just need to click on the center image, which is an axial of the DICOM, and an axial DICOM. Starting from the my left side, I click with the mouse. Every click of the mouse is a point. So I just need to place the points. I don't need to place a lot of points, since the software does the rest. If you want, you can move the points. Oh, if you, for example, add the point, you don't want to be there, you just need to click with the right mouse button and then remove it. And you can drag them and move them in your favorite position. That's all. I finished, so I can click on next step, which is the nerve drawing. Let's start from the right side nerve. If I can see the nerve, I can use the wheel of the mouse. I usually start drawing the nerve from the distal part by clicking with the left mouse button. So I don't need to do anything different from the CPR. Every click is a control point, and the software will create my cylinder representing the mandibular canal. If I can't see the nerve, remember you can use the wheel to see a better image. If you can't see it anymore, because of course we have come to the end of the nerve, you can work also in the cross section for the complete nerve. Okay, let's do the same thing for the left side nerve. Go faster. The same thing, I use the wheel to visualize the nerve path, and when I can't see it anymore, I can complete the nerve creation in the cross section. Okay, I finished, so I can click on next step. Okay, the teeth setup is useful for two reasons. The first reason is that we can assign tags to our workshop. So for example, I can tell the software this is element 46 and this is element 47. Oops. Okay. And I can also add a little tooth if it is missing somewhere. For example, here we don't have an element, so I can add one. I am hiding temporarily my CT, so I can click on this icon to temporarily hide my CT rendering. And then I click on add, and then I click on the element I want to visualize here. Okay, I can move it. Please forgive me if I'm not creating a good tooth. I am not so good. You can also change the orientation by using this circle here from the 2D. You can change the dimension of your element in different directions. You can rotate and you can move, okay, as you wish. Make it larger. Okay. This is useful as navigation tool if you want to understand where you are and if you want to see where your prosthetic exit will go after you have placed an implant here. We have finished, so as usual, we can click on next step. The next step is the implant planning, as the most liked part of the software. The software suggests you this first layout here, but if you don't like it or if you are not used to working this layout, there are a lot of different layouts available which you can select from this menu. So you can go in the layout menu here and you can choose among these possibilities. Usually I work with this situation here, which I am going to explain right now. The situation is CPR with the idea of the depth. So here, the thickness of my image is 20 millimeters. This is so much more similar to a panorex. You can choose the thickness of your images by clicking on this icon here. If I choose a lower thickness of the image, for example, 1 millimeter, I will just see a slice of my patient and I won't have the idea of the depth. If I go back to 20 millimeters, I will also have the idea of the depth, and you can see that I can see here the more distal tooth here. This window shows the cross section. You can see as many cross section as you want by clicking on this icon. So you can see 1 or 3 or 5. In this specific view, in this specific layout, I can see three cross section which are spaced of 1 millimeters between them. So 1 millimeters distance from this to this and 1 millimeter distance from this to this. You can see that the center cross section is circled in blue, meaning that this is the cross section cut by this blue plane here, while the yellow and the green, light green cross sections are the other little lines you can see here, yellow and light green. In the 3D, you can make the blue line appear by clicking on this icon. Okay. This is very useful for navigation in the 3D. So each time you change the position of your blue line in the CPR, you can also see where you are in the 3D. You can also click in a specific part, in a specific point, both in the CPR and also in the 3D, and all the windows will update automatically accordingly to your movements. Another very important thing we must do at this point is saving. Don't forget to save. It's very important. We can click on this icon. I will make you see again. Save here, and we can give this project a title, I don't know, test. I have a lot of fun with it. Okay, so we can now start adding an implant. In order to add an implant, you have to go first in the position you want your implant to be placed. So for example, let's suppose I want to add an implant in this position where my WhatsApp is. So I need to move my blue plane in the correct position, check the cross section and see if this is a good position for a new implant. Well, after I have chosen the position, I can add the implant by clicking on the map of the teeth right there. So this is going to be implant 46. I click here, and the list of the manufacturers appears. We have a lot of manufacturers here. You can download your favorite one by clicking on the cloud icon. Okay, so if you click on the cloud icon, this green bar appears and you can wait your library to be downloaded. In this demonstration, we are going to use our own 3D implant simulations. These are not actual implants. They are just simulation to make you visualize the space occupied by the implant itself. The library works with a father and son relationship. It means that if you choose an implant, for example, let's suppose I want to put 425 10 in length, the software will automatically show me just the compatible abutment. And the same can be said for the sleeve. So the software automatically chooses the best, the most used, the standard combination for this implant and sleeve. You can move your implant by dragging with the mouse in the correct position. The software has warnings. So if you have a look at my screen, you see warning, anatomy collision. And later we will see what it means. If you have a look at this window here, you can see that this sleeve is touching the gum. So this is the reason of the warning. Anyway, we will go back to it later. I can move my implants by rotating. I can also increase or decrease the length of the implant by using the little arrows here. If you have a look at the implant, it also has a green, very thin line around it. This is the security area. We are going to speak about the security area later with the other warnings. I can click on apply. If I click on apply, the software will go back to the main page. Let's have a look at the main window. We can see that our implant is red in color, and we also have a warning here, anatomy collision. It means that the sleeve is touching the bone, as we have seen in the previous image. We can go in the 3D and see if the problem is big. So I hide the information from the DICOMs. I hide the WhatsApp, and so I can see, I can also hide the information about the implant. I can see my sleeve. If the sleeve is touching the bones, it means that when the guide will be created, you will have a collision in the mouth of the patient between sleeve and gums. So this means you won't be able to do a flapless surgery or a complete flapless surgery. If you want to do a complete flapless surgery, the collisions must be avoided. So you need to move the implant in order to solve the collision. In this case, we could, for example, tilt a little bit the implant in a meso-distal direction. And for example, we could drag a little bit near the natural tooth next to it. Okay, I don't want to make you a clinical training today, so let's not worry for the clinical part. We are just going to see how the software works. Okay, so if you have a look now, everything is green, meaning the collision is solved. We don't have anymore here the warning, and we can go on with the second implant. As we did before, we can now move our blue plane. Sorry, I need to do a little bit of zoom out and add my WhatsApp. I drag my blue line to the position I want to add the implant, and then I click on the element I want to add, 47. I am back to the library. I can choose another implant. Here I have not so much space. In fact, if I place this implant, the software is going to give me the second warning, implant too close to a nerve. Nerve collision. The nerve turned red and also the implant. The software will make this appear every time the implant is 2 millimeters near to the nerve. So we need to decrease this, the length of the implant. So we could place 8 millimeter, for example, and move it a little bit far from the nerve. Okay. I now can click on apply icon and go back to the main page. I don't like it so much because it's far from the tooth, but don't worry, you can also move the implant in this area. So we can tilt it and make it in the correct position. The software also makes also have some tools for parallelization of the implant. So I can ask the software to make the first implant parallel to the second. I just need to go on the implant. I want to change the angle. Right click in the center of the implant where a drop down menu appears. I ask the software, set the axis parallel to element 47, and the software does the rest. Now they are parallel. Of course, this is a computer. The computer does not know where the bone is. So after this operation is good practice to have a look at the 2D image and change a little bit the position of the implant if it's outside the bone, or you can also modify it a little bit if you need it. Don't worry, you can always go back to the previous situation if you do something wrong by clicking on the undo icon. Let's save the project. Okay, I may want to add also an implant in this area. Let's do the same thing. So I move the blue line in the position I like. And then I click on the number from the map. And I can now add another implant here, short one. Okay. Usually, in a case like this, we do not use pins, fixation pins. But since this is a demonstration, I also want to add a pin just to show you how it is done. Pins are very important in situation where you have no teeth at all. So 0 teeth, and you need the guide to stay still in the mouth of the patient. In this case, we put at least 3 pins. In this situation, I just put 1 for you to see how it is done. Basically, it's the same thing we did for the implants. So I just move my blue plane, go where I want the pin to be, and I just need to add it. Let's go in the pin planning section and click on one of these numbers. Okay, these numbers are just suggestion, advices. The software is telling you start from this position and go on 2, 3, 4. Please don't go more distal than these positions because the situation, the position of those pins is difficult to deal with during surgery. So these are just advices from the software. But I can click wherever I want. For example, I can click on 3. And my new pin appears here. Of course, I will need to move it. So as for the implant, I can drag it and tilt it. The most important thing for pins is that the pin body, you can see in blue, is inside the pink line, because the guide will be created starting from the pink line from the model. So it's very important that all the objects which must be included in the guide are above the STL of the anatomy. I click on save. and I can go on with the guide design. This is the section of the guide design. Separate wizard will appear when I click there. So I click, and as you can see, all the icons turned gray, and I am inside the guide design wizard. We are going to see 3 steps before the guide creation. So the first step is the setting of the insertion direction. So I need to choose the direction along which my guide will be inserted in the mouth of the patient. I can do it by setting it from view. So I just need to visualize the best direction I want and pay attention to remove the undercuts. Set direction from view. I don't know if you saw it, but the arrow in the middle of the screen changed its angle. So it changed its angle according to the view I've set. Now, if I rotate the model, I can see these gray areas here, meaning that these are the undercuts the software will remove from the model. I click on Generate Undercut. Software is thinking. Okay, now if you have a look, you can see that the undercuts have been removed, like you usually do with the wax on the model. Now, we can do some things. For example, we may want to smooth a little bit. We may want to fill with materials here between teeth. You can do these things, but you can't remove material from this object. If you try and remove something, the software will tell you, no, don't, and go back to the previous situation, of course, because this anatomy, this file will be the one over which we are going to create the guide. So, of course, the same situation must be in the mouth of the patient. If you want to remove something from the STL, you must do it before this part. In this situation, we can fill, we can add material. Adding is not a problem. The guide will fit in the mouth of the patient if there is some offset, but it won't fit if some materials is missing. So we can add but not remove. You may want to smooth. The smooth just works in the direction of adding and not removal. So this is not the case, but if you want to remove some cuspid from the teeth, you can do it with the smooth. I just want to show you how the software works. Okay, so these are our sleeves for the implants, and this is our pin sleeve. Okay, we have now finished. We can click on next step, which is the guide generation itself. Here we have some useful parameters we are going to see. The guide offset, meaning the space between the model and the guide. You know that an object with a 0 offset will difficultly, hardly fit in the mouth of the patient. We need to think about the offset here. Usually I keep 0.1 or 0.14 according to the situation. If I have teeth, I usually put 0.14. Occlusion thickness means the thickness of the guide in the occlusion areas, and the perimeter thickness means the thickness of the guide in the perimeter, of course, area. Usually I keep them the same. Implant sleeve support and pin sleeve support are the quantity of material which the software will place around the sleeves. It will be clearer later after I create the guide. The guide creation works in this way. I just need to click with the left mouse button to place points. These control points are the edge of my guide, I must include everything, of course. So I need to go down to the pin sleeve. If you do something wrong, don't worry, you can use or the undo icon, the undo button, or you can also change the position of the points, and you can also add. The important thing to add the points is that you click on the orange line. I'm using shortcuts from the keyboard to make these movements. In particular, I am using Alt icon, ALT key from the keyboard, and the left mouse button to make the pan. Okay, now you don't need to close the polygon here. You can leave space between the 2 points. Okay, now we have finished placing the points. We now must click Create Guide. The software will think about it for a moment, depending on your computer hardware. Okay, and this is the sleeve, the guide. At this point, you can also, if you have a look at the guide, you see that there are not holes for the sleeves because we are still in an editing situation. We may want to add some materials and do some modification. For example, I usually add some material between the sleeve, around the sleeves, to give the guide strength. Okay, I can, if you have a look at my, at the circle, I am using the shift key from the keyboard and the wheel from the mouse to change the diameter, and I can use the CTRL key from the keyboard and always the wheel from the mouse to change the strength of the tool. Blue means very light tool, and red means very strong tool. I usually stay in the middle with the green. But of course, it depends on what you have to do. Now, I don't need to fill a lot. I just need to add some material. Oh. And I may also want to add some material in this area. Okay. Also here. Another useful tool is the creation of windows for inspection. So I can create windows, for example, in this area so that I can see if the guide is correctly fitting on the teeth. Also in this situation, I can change the diameter of my window. Okay, now I finished. I can click on, you can also add text if you need. You can also write the name of the patient. I usually like to make it engraved. Okay, next step is the creation of the holes for the sleeves. So the software is just thinking about it. And that's all. So now I have a good and nice 3D of my guide. I can hide the implants for a moment. I can hide the anatomy. Here I have the holes for the sleeves. You can see that also the information about the hexagon is included in the sleeve in the guide, so that you can easily place the sleeve in their housing, and it's useful for the prosthetic management during the surgery. I wanted to show you two last things, then I can answer to your questions. If you have a look at my screen at the moment, you will see that on the left side column, I have some reports available and some export available. Let's start from the report. You have here the implant report. If you click, you can fill in the form with information about the patient and the planning. So for example, you can click here a summary of your surgery. You can write down implant details if you need them. Save notes, and also you can put your logo here. You can use this report both for the surgery or for your patient for information. Now I can click on OK here, and this report is saved on the desktop, for example, implant report test. The second report I want to show you is the drill report. In this case, we have used the 3DM simulated implants. So this report is going to show the drill sequence for our 3DM universal kit. So if now I go on the desktop, I think you can't see my screen anymore. Anyway, don't worry, I will show it to you in a moment. Just a moment. Okay, can you see it? I don't know if Ivan can tell me if my
we continue to see the software.
Okay, so I must. Okay, this is the implant report.
Okay, now
Showing the details about the patient. So, summary of the patient, images, and here we have planning overview with all the information about the implant number, and then we have cross sections and also information about the single implants. Here is the bone density around the implant volume, and so on for each. Here's the notes I have added before. Okay. The drills report sequence for the implants we have placed in this position. This is for 3DM. Okay. Then I want you to see the export. Okay, here we have different export possibilities. Export anatomy means the software is going to export all the things related with anatomy. So I want to add the guide for a moment. So the software, I have gone in object list where I can see all the STL I have imported in this project. Anatomy export will save on your desktop or in a folder you choose all the information about the anatomy. So anatomy, walks up, and nerves. The export guide will save the STL of the guide. So this file here. The export guide for milling will export the STL for the guide in the correct position for you for the milling, since the STL positioning in case of milling is different from the 3D printing. This is specific for the milling repositioning of the STL. The export for CAD-CAM icon export the scan abutment of the implant if you choose them from the implant planning. So whenever you add an implant, you can also add the scan abutment if it's available for the implant, and you can export for CAD-CAM here. So if you need to create your own prosthetic in different software, you can use them for reference. Okay, I think I finished with this panoramic of the software. I don't know if Luca can tell me there are some questions and if I can answer.
Okay, some people asked if we can see how to manage post-extraction guide.
Yes.
So if you wanted to show us how to delete a T,
yes,
and then modify the STL of the anatomy.
yes.
And then you go on STL modification, then if you show us also the Boolean operation, we can do with the STL file.
Okay, the software also has a STL editor inside, so whenever you import STL, you can modify them. In order to modify STL, you need to go in the data import section here. Okay. And you need to choose from the list the file you want to modify. In this case, we want to remove a tooth from the anatomy. So I select the anatomy and then I click on modify. And here the editor of the STL open. Let's suppose, for example, I want to remove this element here. I have different ways. Here I have a lot of commands available. You can, for example, cut away by area or by spline. I usually use the area, so I rotate my anatomy in a way that just the element I want to remove will be selected. I remember that the area is kind of very strong tool, so it will remove everything inside the polygon. So you need to be careful and just select the thing. Okay. I can save the cut part, meaning that the software will keep this object somewhere else. I click on cut, and as you can see, the software has cut away my element and put it in another STL. Okay. Now you can edit using the other commands, and the other commands to make the work better. That's what I usually do. You can also modify a little bit your STL if you did some mistakes, like I did, and so on. There are a lot of different tools here. I especially like this remove because if I have a post-extractive, I may want to remove also a little part of the surface, so I kind of create a hole here. Also smooth helps me remove the spikes. can see.
And you can do this also on 2D views.
You can also work in this view. So both ways are possible. You can both work the same in the different views, and all the modifications are real time. So if you do something here, also these images will be updated in the best way, right? In the other way around. So that's the first thing. The object is here, so you can always make it appear from this section. If you want to apply this modification, you just need to click on Apply Changes. Okay, Boolean operations. Okay. I need an object to subtract from this one. So okay, let's suppose I want any idea, Luca? What do you think?
But only I think that they want to see only where they can do this, not to
not an example,
No,
because I
no.
don't have any object to subtract from the complete. Okay, Boolean operation are here. So here you can choose the Boolean operation section. You just need to click on the icon and then choose the object. For example, I don't know, if we have anatomy and we add another element to remove, we could use the operation subtract from and create the Boolean. Unfortunately, here I don't have anything to subtract from the anatomy, so I can't show it to you. Leave.
Oh, but I think it's okay.
They just wanted to see where the menu was. Okay.
I can also say that this new anatomy with the extraction of the tooth will be the new surface on which you can create the STL of the surgical guide.
Here. So if you want to create the surgical guide from the second STL has been saved, and don't worry, it will be available in the guide design. So if we now go back in the guide design, this STL will be our scaffold, our base to start from the guide design.
They are making a lot of questions about drill report. So
yes,
if you speak a little bit, that there is not only
there is not only 3DM report. There at the moment we have different manufacturers available. We have Straumann, Tomman, Sveden and Martina, 3i, for example. Let's try 3i. So if now, no, 3i, it's very big library to download. I can't download the libraries at the moment because they are very big, and so it will take me some time to do it. Anyway, if you put 3i tapered implants, the report will appear. And also for, as I said, Tomman, Straumann, Sveden and Martina. These are the available drilling protocol reports at the moment.
Anyway, if you want to be sure that if there is a report, you can try to download our software and using the demo version, prepare a plan. You can choose the implant you want or the implant library you need, and then you can find if there is the drill report associated to it. Yes, as Alice is doing now.
I'm doing it. I wanted to see if the download is fast. It's fast, so I can show it to you. For example, if I put a biometry eye tapered implant, this one. Of course, all the implants in the project must be of the same manufacturers, because if they don't, the drilling report won't appear. So
okay, you are now here. If you can show another question that they asked. How to change the angular position of the implant axis in the CPR view. So
here I just need to click on the center of the implant and drag the implant with the icon arrow here.
I think also the plane before adding an implant.
Sorry?
I think also the implant plane. So
the plane, okay. So the same thing. In the blue, if I have a look at the blue plane, I can see there are arrows here. I can rotate them and change the rotation of the axis, or I can click on this box where you can see 0 degrees and write down the tilting, for example, 30 degrees. The software will decide the direction of inclination according to the half of the jaw if you are located the most. So if you are in this side, it will do this, and if you are on the other side, sorry, it's the other way around. If I, the software will tilt it the other way. Okay. Okay. Report. They can't see it now, right?
Yeah, we continue to see the software. In time I answer, we can add all STL file we want, also face scan, yeah, for sure.
Okay, this is the report for temperature eye. Okay. With the name of the patient.
Is there the possibility to create a custom sleeve? I think. Yeah.
Yes, you can create the custom sleeve with the tool. Let me show you. You can go in the settings menu here. Can you see my screen, right?
Yeah, I see.
Right. See. Settings. In the settings window, you can go in the sleeves section, and here you can write down your custom sleeves. Of course, you need to fill in with the information about the sleeves. So we have the external diameter, the internal diameter, and so on. This is the length of the sleeve, and this is the offset. So the distance between the platform of the implant and the bottom part of the sleeve. After you fill in the information about the sleeve, you can save. Let's suppose I want I don't know, 5, 4, 4, 5, and you want to save it. Let's suppose the area in hexagon with one size. Let's click on save. We are going to call this sleeve. The software asks me to restart in order to make the sleeve available. So I need to click on exit. And now I have to open up again my software.
Yeah, we can, in time I yes, answer to other questions. Yeah, we can change also the distance between the sleeve and the implant. So you can change the eye.
Yes, from the same window of we have just seen. Of course, you need to know the dimension of the sleeve you're starting from. So, for example, if you're starting from, I don't know, 3DM sleeve, you need to know the dimension, the diameters. Okay, I just wanted to show you that, for example, now I want to change the sleeve for this implant, so I click on change, and if I go custom section, I find my sleeve, which is not so different from 3DM. It's a little bit smaller, so I don't know if you can see the difference, but I assure you there is a difference between the two.
Okay.
Alice, sorry.
Please.
Can you please explain very quickly what is bone cementation and tissue cementation for?
It's a bit long, but I will try. Okay, let's start from the tooth segmentation. The tooth segmentation is contour-based, is edge-based. So basically what you need to do with the tooth segmentation is choose an element. I usually align the views to the main two direction. And the thing you need to do is tell the software which is the edge of the element. So I need to do this. And if you have a look at what the software is doing, is creating the outline of the element. If you want, you can also add some information with the manual segmentation. So basically, I tell the software, this is not tooth, so please remove it. As you can see, after I have added this information, the software removed the part of STL from the main STL. So red parts are not tooth, green parts are tooth. I can tell the software which is which. Okay, then I go on the next step, and I can also do freeform modeling by using. As I said, it's a very complex topic. So
I think that there are a lot of specific questions. So
I think so.
we can think about scheduling new meetings for the next week in English. I think only one in order to see a full arch case, for example, or
to answer to all the questions. Right.
Yes. Please consider also that on our website, if you go on into the private area, you can find a lot of video which show you how to manage the software, starting from the import data, as Alice.
I will show them to them. I will show it to them.
Okay, thank you.
If you go on our website, if you get our website, you can go in the private area. And if you need to log in with your username and password. So if you are not registered to the website, you need to sign up. Remember that the registration to the website and the registration to the software is different. So if you have done one of them, you need to repeat for the other. So if you have logged in for the software, you need to repeat the registration for the site, and vice versa. So after you have signed up, you can log in with your username, your email and password, and inside the private area you will find the software downloads, information about the software, so hardware requirements, a user manual, and so on, and also some video tutorials in English if you want some more information.
I can show them if you want, Alice, because I'm in. So I take the share screen. Here, as you can see, as Alice said, in private area, you can find the link for downloading the software or our video tutorials. As you can see, there are a lot of video tutorials about our different modules. Start, Open DICOM dataset, matching on anatomy is assisted, CPR settings, nerve drawing, implant planning. So start, pro, and also design, surgical guide modeling, export files, cloud database. So a lot of video tutorials that show you how to work in our software. Okay, I see if there are other questions.
I'm looking at the questions too, so if I find something interesting, I can answer. You need the internet connection, yes.
Yeah.
We also have an online shop if you want to purchase our software on subscription, monthly subscription. Anyway, remember the first month is a demo version, a pro demo version, so you will be able to import the DICOM, STL, and do a planning. CBCT centers generally send data in zip file. The software can import zip file directly, yes. but I think I've already answered this question.
Yeah, I think
during,
we answered to all the questions. You can put
maybe I will.
segmented-
Sorry, please.
because can I put the segmented tooth into the anatomy model? Yeah, you can
Yes.
manage the STL file as you want
With the
and put it
Boolean.
together with the Boolean operation. For all the commercial info, you can write to our colleague Ivan. Ivan, do you hear us?
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm writing my email in chat for any
Okay.
kind of commercial information. Please feel free to contact me anytime.
Then I think we can finish.
Yeah.
Please remember that this meeting recording will be available on our website tomorrow. So if you wanted to see again something or you lost something else, you can go on our website and download the recording of this meeting and see it.
I am writing down my email address in the chat, in the chat also. So if someone has needs some information or technical questions, you can write to me.
At the
Maybe
end,
Luca, do you have
yeah, at the end of the meeting,
document to
I'll share.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay. Okay, now I share to you all our contact. Do you see my screen?
Great, yes.
Okay,
Thank you.
so happy Easter to you, and we'll continue to keep in touch on our website. Please, if you want to also follow our Facebook page, Tradiemme, and then I think we schedule something else for the next week. So let's keep in touch, and then we'll be back with other contents, with other arguments about our Real Guide software. And thank you for coming here today.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for your attention, and take care, and stay safe. And I repeat, for any kind of information, please feel free to contact us at any time. Thank you very much.
Bye.
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 Bye-bye.